Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Pamela and today we're going to be talking about how to achieve your goals with a very specific method that not many people talk about, and that is called reverse engineering. So let's get started. Reverse engineering, working backwards, is a type of goal setting and goal achieving method that not many people talk about. And when I look back at all the things I've accomplished and how I've been able to literally do everything so far that I've ever dreamed of at such a young age, I definitely have a lot more to do. I am not done yet. But with all the things that I've been able to accomplish at such a young age, I realized that there was a specific method that I've been doing for the last few years. I never realized that it actually classified into a certain kind of category, and that is essentially working backwards and reverse engineering. So to give you guys a little bit of information about reverse engineering, you are working backwards from your end goal. You're making a plan, you're making these steps and these actionable outlines almost on how to get to where it is that you want to be. If you have an end goal of maybe you want to get into more health and wellness type things, maybe you want to be more toned and you really just want to be more careful about what you're putting into your body, you could start working backwards by who is the ideal version of what you want to be when it comes to health and wellness. Do you want to be more toned? Do you want to be a certain way? Do you want to look a certain way? Whatever it is that you want to look and feel, start at that person and then start working backwards from that. What do you have to take out of your everyday routine? Do you want to look at how much sugar you're intaking? Do you want to go on more walks and put in different workouts into your everyday routine? Whatever it is, work backwards from that ideal person or that ideal lifestyle that it is that you want. The same thing can go with entrepreneurship. If you want to be a millionaire or you want to be very successful, what can define that? What can you do to get you to that end goal? You can do that by working backwards. Maybe you want to hit a certain kind of revenue every single month. Do you need to have a business partner for whatever business or plan it is that you want? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you want to hit a certain amount of money every year? Do you need to get a promotion? Whatever it is, start with that end goal and then work backwards. And I've been doing this for the last few years, and it has essentially gotten me to my dream job, which is to be a female founder, to be a business owner, entrepreneur. And like I said, I literally did that from just working backwards. So I'm gonna get into my background and how I was able to do this. Let's take it back all the way to 2020. I was graduating high school, I was a senior, I had gotten accepted into my dream college, which was FIT, and I literally had nothing under my belt. I had no idea what I was going to be doing after I graduated. All I knew was that I loved fashion and I loved business and entrepreneurship. Throughout my time during quarantine, I really got obsessed with this podcast called How I Built This by Guy Raz, in which he interviews entrepreneurs and business owners and people that have essentially made it in the business industry. Whether they're millionaires or billionaires, he interviews them all. And I became obsessed with these stories and these people because they went through so many amazing lessons. They learned so much and they were able to honestly get their dream life, whatever it was that they wanted. After listening to these people, hearing their stories, I was like, I want to be a business owner. I want to get into this. I want to start my own thing as well. Mind you, I was a 17-year-old girl graduating high school and I had no experience at all with business. And so since I was going to a fashion school, I decided why not start a portfolio or some kind of website that can just keep track of all my progress and things that I was doing while I was in college. And that's why I decided to start a blog. It's called Glamour and Guide. I still have it to this day. It is essentially like my firstborn child is my baby. I love Glamour and Guide. It is everything to me. Starting this blog was one of the best things that I could have ever done because all the skills and things that I learned from that essentially helped me get to where I am today. I learned so many things. I learned how to build a website. I learned how to write better. I was writing articles and interviewing people and getting all of these skills and knowledge that I would have never learned if I didn't start the blog. I decided I wanted to get also into content creation and social media. I wanted to learn how to be comfortable in front of the camera like this. I wanted to be more confident in the way that I talked. So I decided, why not start taking social media more seriously? Because of that, I was able to partner with brands. I was able to work with brands. I was gaining all this knowledge and experience on how to email companies, how to negotiate, what exactly is a brand deal, what kind of contract is this, and I was learning all of these things that I never knew before. Because of that, I then decided to start Valdez Agency, which was a social media management agency. I was managing clients, I was learning all of these things on my own, and I was like, I can definitely help business owners out there who also want to get into social media. And so I started that. I got some clients. After a few months, it got a little bit busy for me, so I decided to close up shop because I was literally a freshman in college making a couple $100s a month helping these people, but I literally had no time to do anything else. And at the same time, I was doing internships, I was working part-time jobs, I was literally everywhere. Like the amount of things that I did while I was in college, I was living so many different lives, it's insane. Because I was getting more comfortable in front of the camera and I was learning how to work with clients and doing all of these things, I decided to convert the Valdez Agency Instagram page into a platform or a page where people can just find internship opportunities, job opportunities, advice, how to work with brands, and more, because I was learning all of these things on my own and I was like, I can definitely provide this for people as well online for free. So after I converted Valdez Agency into a job and opportunity page, a few years later decided to start a podcast called Pretty and Prepared, in which I gave a lot more in-depth information on topics that I was already talking about on social media, but I wanted a platform where it can just be in longer form version for people to know. And I would have never started a podcast if I would have never learned how to write better and talk better, and I would have never learned all of that experience. Like if I would have never done that, it would have never led me to starting a podcast. And then I ended up starting a newsletter. The newsletter was literally based off of me building up all my writing skills and bringing information to people. So everything in the end ended up coming together. And after I worked with all these brands, after I did all of these internships, after I learned all this advice on social media and marketing and influencer marketing and working with brands and how to write an email, and it led me to eventually start and lead to my end goal, which was to make Valdez Agency my business. And I have converted it into a influencer marketing agency, and I am so proud of everything that I've done over the last few years. If I would have never started with my blog and learned how to make a website, it would have never led me down to everything else that I did, which is social media, the podcast, the newsletter, and now my agency. Pandora actually ended up being one of our first clients, which was amazing. We made an entire influencer marketing campaign for them, picked out the influencers, we shipped out all of the products, made everything, and it was literally just the best. But I'm telling you, I would have never had the chance to do that if I would have never started at square one and started working backwards like how I did. Now let's get into why people decide to do reverse engineering. So I have my computer in front of me, so don't mind me. I have so many notes that I want to make sure that I hit all on. But people do reverse engineering because instead of constantly thinking about that goal, instead of constantly thinking about the end and what it is that you want, you're now working towards your goal. You're now working towards your dreams, and you're making sure that it is happening. You're taking the steps, you're taking the action, you're executing, and you're getting to where it is that you need to be. Because so many people get stuck in dreamland. They get stuck in having all these ideas in their head and thinking, okay, I need to make this happen, but they never actually do it. And when you execute and make something happen and you bring it out into the world, you can learn from those mistakes, you can learn what you can do better next time, and you can get real feedback from people. That is what is the most important when it comes to being an entrepreneur, is getting feedback, getting it out in the world, and learning from that. Because if you never do it and you never put it out there, you're never gonna know what to change. I never thought that Valdez Agency would end up converting into an influencer marketing agency. I simply thought that I was just gonna manage social media pages, and it completely changed into something else that I literally learned from experience and from doing it on my own. And I was like, I do not want to manage clients, I do not want to create their content, I literally just want to help get brands connected with creators. In order to correctly do this reverse engineering method, I have broken down everything that I did into 4 specific steps. So number 1 is have your end goal. What is it that you want to achieve in the end? Do you want to be an entrepreneur if you want to go the business route? Do you want to be a content creator if you want to go more that way? Whatever it is that you want to achieve, this doesn't have to be just for businesses or entrepreneurship. It can literally be for any kind of skill or end goal it is that you want to learn. Number 2 is have role models and inspiration. Have people that you look up to, that you want to eventually learn from, and that you are like, this is someone in this industry that I really look up to, that one day I want to be in their shoes. Obviously, you don't want to copy these people because you want to be your own version of yourself, but have role models and just people that you can get information from, to listen to their podcasts, to read articles about them. Number 3 is what skills and steps do you need to take to get to that final end goal? Look over any free resources that you can take advantage of. Look at any skills that you may need to brush up on, and how can you learn more to eventually get to that end goal, whatever it is. Lastly is take action and execute. Make make sure that you are putting this out there in the world, that you are making this known, and that you are building that community so that they know this is coming, I am doing this, and you can be a part of it. Let's talk about step number 1, which is the end goal. You need to define exactly what it is that you want. What goal are you trying to get, and be specific. I said this before, but everyone can say, I want to be an entrepreneur. Everybody can say, I want to be successful. I want to be a millionaire. But what defines that for you? If you want to be successful, if you want to be an entrepreneur or a business owner, ask yourself all the questions of what kind of monthly revenue do you need to hit? Do you need a business partner? What niche or industry can you get into? By breaking all this down and really defining whatever your end goal is, it's gonna make it easier for you, because when we have an end goal, I feel like it can seem really scary and almost intimidating, because you're like, I don't know if I can do this. Like when I was in high school and I was 17 years old sitting in my room saying I want to be a business owner, I was so intimidated because I was like, I'm literally a small girl from a small town in New Jersey. I don't have any business experience. I don't know anyone. I have no connections. I have no network. And because of all of those years of building experience and skills and learning knowledge and constantly just absorbing information, like literally being a sponge to life, I was able to acquire all the skills and acquire all these things that I never would have done if I would have never just gotten out into the world and put everything out there that I wanted. You have to break down your goals into smaller steps, because like I said, it's gonna feel a lot less overwhelming, and it's actually gonna feel a lot more achievable for you as well. If you wanna hit 100,000 followers on Instagram or TikTok, you can break that down. How many times a week should you be posting? What niche or industry are you going to get into? Where can you repurpose your content to try to get it on different platforms? Can you create a community? Can you connect with other people in that industry and get your name out there? Can you post as much as you can? Do you have days during the week where you can just batch up content? Whatever it is, start with that end goal and then just break it down into little and smaller steps. Number 2 is have role models and inspiration. This is by far one of my favorite tips, and this is what has helped me. Because of that podcast, How I Built This, it gave me so much insight and knowledge on real entrepreneurs, real business owners, and all these people that were learning things from literally just putting their idea out there into the world. These are real millionaires and billionaires and successful men and women that literally took their idea and made it a reality. And I use all of these entrepreneurs and business owners to get insight from them. I listen to their article, I read their articles, I listen to their podcasts. I try to absorb as much information as I can from them. I follow them on social media, and I'm constantly looking at what they're doing and how they were able to get to where they are today. Obviously, you're not supposed to copy these people's exact steps, because there's no guidebook or step-by-step guide on how you can become these people, but there are little things you can learn from them, because if you're going to go into something, you want to learn from other people's mistakes. You want to learn from their story, and then you can make your own mistakes and learn from that. That has made it such a difference in my entrepreneurial life, is that I'm learning from other people. I'm taking notes, I'm taking all of this education, and I'm absorbing it. And then I'm putting it into my own life, and then I'm learning from my own mistakes and how can I improve. When I was emailing and reaching out to all these people in the beginning to try to get a client for Valdez Agency for my creator community, I was reaching out the same way every single time and it wasn't working. So I was like, let me pivot and try a different way. And I kept pivoting until finally I landed on Pandora, and that opportunity was able to happen. If I would have just kept with the same method that I was doing for the first few months that wasn't working, I would have never been able to get Pandora as that first client. So I'm telling you, it's okay to pivot and know when to pivot and try different things and go down different routes until you finally hit that end goal and you're like, okay, this method works. Now how can I keep going down this way? I also really recommend getting a notebook or having some sort of folder on your computer where you can keep track of notes and information. I specifically like to use either Google Drive or Microsoft OneNote, and I keep track of so much knowledge and information and skills and tips from real entrepreneurs. I listen to interviews over and over again because every single time you can see it in a completely different perspective and in a completely different way. There's so many business owners and people that I really look up to that every single time you listen to their podcast or every time you reread these articles, you get it in a different point of view. And to me, that has been the most helpful, especially when it comes to how can I take this and put it into my own business. Number 3 is take these skills and steps and break it down. So identify all of the skills that are needed for you to get to wherever it is that you want to be. As we discussed before, It's really important to do your research, learn from others, and gather all of this knowledge to learn what are you going to do next. What resources or skills can help you get in line with the person it is that you want to become? What skills can you acquire? What books or courses or articles can you read and be immersed in to help you get closer to this end goal? Use your time management skills, take advantage of resources, and of course connect with people. LinkedIn is there, emails are online. You can reach out to all of these people and really get connected to get more insight. Maybe you have specific questions, maybe you want to interview these people. Whatever it is, literally just take advantage of your free resources. And that is my number one tip that I always say to young entrepreneurs or female founders or business owners is take advantage of free resources. There is so much free stuff online. We are truly in a generation where there is so much available online for us to take advantage of that, to me, I don't really see why people would pay for a course or pay thousands of dollars for something when you can literally go to the library, you can go to Barnes and Noble, you can go to bookstores, buy books and learn from other people. You can read articles online. I love CNBC Make It. They have a YouTube channel as well as a website and an Instagram where they find real people in the world and talk to them about how they got to where they are today. There's podcasts like How I Built This and Cubicle to CEO where they literally talk about entrepreneurs and they interview them and ask them all the questions that you want to know. You have to remember that it's not about how quickly you can get to the end goal, but it's about the progress and what you're learning on the road to getting there. Number 4, which is the last tip, is take action and execute. I said this before, but make sure that you're learning from whatever it is that you're doing. Don't rush, but instead look at how can you improve whatever it is that you're currently doing. Tara Bosch, who is the founder of Smart Suites, she is one of my role models and inspiration, someone that I look up to. She says this quote, which is to have patient urgency, which according to admiredleadership.org, patient urgency is preparing for the moment, waiting for the best conditions, and giving room to practice and experiment. Urgent leaders act with speed when the conditions are ripe. And I love this quote because a lot of people will either take their time with things or they won't act quickly. And I feel like you need to have a good mix of both. It's really hard to have that balance, but I'm telling you, if you can find the perfect middle ground between that, where you're working hard and efficiently, but also you're taking your time and you're making sure that everything is all up to par with whatever it is that you're doing, that is truly like the secret sauce. Having that patient urgency, acting with speed, and knowing when the conditions are right. It's also really important to be consistent with your goals and constantly progressing. I used to hate being a morning person, and I realized that if I wake up early, I can get an earlier start to the day. I can get my goals and my work done quicker, and I don't have to stay up late at night anymore trying to get and rush through these things. So I became a morning person, and I became consistent with this. Every single day, I wake up at 7 a.m. and I do my newsletter, I check my emails, I make content on certain days, I film, I edit on certain days, I have my entire schedule laid out, and because of this, I've been able to honestly become more and more closer to the person that I want to be, which is a successful business owner and someone who really prioritizes my mental health, physical health, and of course, someone that is constantly learning from everything that is around me. You shouldn't be comparing yourself to others online, and I really recommend spending time off of social media unless it is specifically you trying to get information from other people. For example, I love YouTube. I love listening to podcasts and interviews, and I love watching Shark Tank compilations of other business owners talking about their stories. And although YouTube is a form of social media, I try not to go as much on Instagram or TikTok and compare myself, because YouTube, truly, I can get so much information from there, and it has taught me so much that I know today. Bouncing off of that, you should continue to do research and learn every single day. The beauty of life is that there is so much to learn out there. There is so much to do and so many things that you can learn from, so many free resources, books that you can read. Try to take advantage and continuously do research. You also want to execute and learn from your mistakes. There are so many people that, like I said before, they get stuck in the dream phase. They are constantly thinking, how can I make the perfect plan? How can I make sure that this gets out into the world perfectly? But it's really just about getting it out there. Get it out there. Of course, you don't want it to be super sloppy and rushed, but whatever it is, just get it out there. Even if it's because you want to be a content creator, get one video out there. Once you put it out there and you keep working, you keep learning more editing skills, you keep learning how to be more comfortable and confident in front of the camera, everything is going to flow and build up over time. The last thing that I want to cover in this video are some benefits of reverse engineering and working backwards with your goals. The first benefit is you're breaking down your goals into more achievable steps. And this is something that I see as a huge positive because, as I mentioned before, when you look at your goals from a really big perspective, it can seem intimidating, it can be overwhelming and scary, and you're really not sure if you can actually accomplish this and make it happen. So by actually reverse engineering your goals, you are looking at it in smaller steps, and honestly, that is much more comforting to me than looking at something and saying, I want to be successful. Now you got to figure that out. How can you be successful? Instead, breaking it down into, okay, this is how much I have to hit every month. This is the industry I want to get into. This is how much I have to work. This is etc. Like all those little things I feel like is so much more easier to look at than just one big phrase of I want to be successful. The second benefit is you have a clearer path towards your goals and your dreams. You're not looking at it in a messy way, and you're really looking at it step by step, and you're like, okay, this is achievable. I can make this happen. It is possible. And by having that faith and that belief, you are gonna work 10 times harder because you're like, I got this, it can happen. It's not just a dream, but it's going to become a reality. The third benefit is that you're gonna become a lot more flexible and consistent with your work. As I said before, progress and consistency is really essential when you are going towards your dreams, because if you fall off for a short period of time, it can be hard to bounce back. But when you stay consistent and obviously give your body rest and your mind rest, and you're putting yourself first, and you're going towards these goals and these dreams, you are going to see things start to happen. 4 years is what it took for me to get to where I am today, and I'm still not done. I'm still working towards being the best and better version of myself. I love who I am today. I love everything that I've learned, and I always say it's just the beginning. There's so many more things that I want to accomplish, and I'm still getting there. The last benefit is you're learning more about yourself and your mistakes. It is so great to learn from your mistakes and learn more about yourself, because you know who you are, you know what works, you know what skills you're good at, you know what you're not good at, and you can learn from that. And when you learn from your mistakes and you get feedback from people and real opinions, real advice, real comments, you're gonna know what to do better next time, or you're just gonna know in general what works and what doesn't, and that is honestly the best thing. That is all for today's video. I really hope that this was informative and helpful. I have had such an amazing journey over these last few years, and it's just the beginning for my life and everything that I want to accomplish. So I really hope that this was helpful, and if you guys have a really big dream or goal, I hope you consider trying to use this method and reverse engineering and working backwards with whatever it is that you want to accomplish, because I believe in you. I know that you can do whatever it is that you have your heart set on, whatever goal it is that's in your mind constantly that you're always thinking about, you can make it happen. Let me know if you guys have tried this before, and if not, let me know if you are going to. But make sure to like this video, subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.